Sam from Road Trail Run here. Want to give you my first run impressions and all the details on the Inov-8 TERRAULTRA G260, which is a zero drop shoe with a 17mm stack, front and back. And it has a super rugged upper. We'll get into the details on that, but especially featured is the G series outsole, graphene enhanced. So you can see what Inov-8 is claiming here: 50% stronger, 50% more elastic, 50% harder wearing than regular rubber. And they have a bunch of data to demonstrate that. So you can see it's a very rugged looking outsole. Really, I think designed as it's called out for harder surfaces. This isn't necessarily a mud type shoe. As with all Inov-8, and I have quite a history with Inov-8, and back in 2007-06, I ran almost exclusively on trail on Inov-8 because really they were the first trail running shoe designed, really, for me anyway, as a trail running shoe, not a road shoe recycled into hiking, or a hiker, near hiker recycled into running. And they've always had the dynamic fascia band, which are plastic strips embedded in the midsole to guide the foot, follow kind of the shape of the foot. And they've also always had the MetaFlex. So this is a very nicely flexible shoe. The midsole, and I'm a bit surprised, is given that we have a weight here of 260 grams, or 9.17 ounces, and my test pair at 8.5 is 9.03, so that's pretty close. The midsole here is a TPU instead of an EVA, and it's called X-Terro-Flow. So there's an inner core, a softer core, and kind of a firmer film on the outside. I haven't run them yet, and later in the review, after I come back from my run, I'll tell you how they feel on the run. But I felt the cushion was quite firm, but a little bit springy, so characteristic of TPU foams. So this is a very interesting kind of new foam. Then we'll see how it runs. Now the upper is really special. Inov-8 is really known for their durable uppers and running on super rugged terrain. They're from England, so the fells running tradition is big with them. So this is a very nice mesh. You'll note the toe box, the toe bumper, is super substantial, super rigid. However, walking around today, there's so much height here that I didn't even notice it was there. So if you're running fast and rough on rocky terrain, you're going to get a ton of protection and also durability, I expect, from this toe bumper. There's an exoskeleton approach to the upper here. I found the foothold excellent. And towards the rear, at the rear of the shoe, we have some Kevlar Kevlar fibers embedded in the heel cup area for durability. Not sure exactly where they are. Now, as far as the fit, just walking around, this is a generous fit. It's not ultra generous or topo generous, but it's about as generous as I've had in a trail shoe recently. Again, credit to that very high toe box and plenty of width. Just walking around, but we'll see how they run. The foothold is super secure. So despite it being a low drop shoe, this should be a very agile shoe with decent cushion, even though it's quite a bit lower than many shoes you see today. So this is a shoe for going over rough terrain fast. So we'll see how it proves out. So I'll be back from my run in a few minutes and tell you how my first run went in the TERRAULTRA G260. It's a $150 shoe. It's available now, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Sam from Road Trail Run again. I'm back up at the top of Porcupine here in Park City. It's a beautiful warm evening. I'm going to be going down that trail. I wanted to give you a bit more feedback now that I've run about 3 miles in the G260. here's what I'm feeling. A superb upper, really well held. Toe box is very high, but and quite broad, but super secure. In terms of the ride, well, I'm feeling a springy feel to these shoes. Not a bouncy kind of out of control feel, but a springy feel. I'm particularly noting in the forefoot, the toe off is broad and very responsive. They are a zero drop shoe, so I'm feeling the zero drop, but the heel and that TPU foam is quite dense, so I'm not really bottoming out. Everything's very stable. I'm really enjoying these. So I'll get back to you later with a final sum up on the G260, but I'm going to enjoy the run. So how's that graphene grip? Well, on this smoother stuff where there's not much sand on top, it's excellent. As the surface gets sandier, not quite as good, but it's a very versatile feeling outsole. I'm going to keep going here, finish my run. Beautiful up here in Park City. Okay, some final thoughts about the Inov-8 Terra Ultra G260 after my first run in them. This is a super agile, more natural kind of running shoe. I'm going to show you how flexible they are. The upper is super supportive. I was true to size, and I recommend most stay true to size. Nobody should really have to size up here. And if you have a super narrow foot, you might consider it, but do try your true to size to start. As far as the famous graphene grip, it was just fine on the firmer stuff as intended. A little bit of slipping on the uphills on more where there was some loose sand on top of firm, and that pretty much happens with any shoe. They are super agile. I found that the climbing was great. The forefoot feels great, and there's a good reason for that, because they're so darn flexible. Let me show you how flexible. Very flexible. What that translates to is great agility, very decent rock protection, but it's not the ultimate rock protection, because you've got only a 17mm stack, but that TPU midsole is quite dense. It's springy, provides plenty of cushion for 17mm. It's kind of amazing, but it's not particularly thick. So when combined with the outsole, you don't have a tremendous amount of front rock protection with all that flexibility. But for going fast on smoother terrain, rockier, not as rocky terrain, at least for me, they were just fine. Super agile, faster runners will probably love them. The fit, as I said, true to size. That toe box is very high. You're very well held. It's super broad. Truly, it competes well with the Ultras and the Topos of the world with, I think, a better overall hold. Midfoot was super well held, so at only 9.17 ounces or 260 grams. This is quite a bit of fast shoe. Retail price is $150. They should prove super durable, given the Kevlar in the heel and that toe box. So I'm going to run some more in them, and we'll have a full written review here on Road Trail Run real soon. So thank you very much for watching.